Okay, folks, welcome to part 3 of our Paludarium setup, which is where we're going to be talking about what fish ended up making it into our tank. So all of these fish are nano species, just meaning that they are good with small spaces, and they're going to stay pretty small. And all of the fish that we are going to be covering also are added over the course of about 2 months. We introduced the new fish slowly so that we made sure that we had enough good bacteria to take care of the bad bacteria that fish actually produce. Now, the last thing to note is that we did experience some really freak accidents over the course of these 2 months. So if you are sensitive to fish loss, this is probably not the video for you. And I hope to see you in another one, like any other one. But if you do stick around, we are not only going to be talking about the different species, but we're also going to be talking about how we recovered from some of these events because you can do everything right in this hobby and still experience fish loss. And I think that's kind of the harder side of the hobby. And I figured transparency was the best policy here and to actually kind of talk about it and how to recover from it as opposed to just throw some of the same fish in here and hope no one notices. Like that's weird. So, anyways, without further ado, let's get into some of the really cool species that we started with in our first wave.
The last little pieces that are in place before the fish go in, there is a heater that is now right underneath the pump so that the warm water is going right into the pump. It is coming out through the little spout. And then just to make sure that that heat is getting diffused, there is a little temperature gauge on this side. Up first, we have chili Raspora. They are babies, but these guys will get to be a really bold red when they're older. Up next, we have glass Tetras. Some dwarf loaches. These guys will be fun. Some little blue velvet shrimp. These guys are gonna float for a bit and kind of get acclimated to the temperature of the water, and then I'm going to slowly acclimate it to the water. So the good news is I went on vacation, but the bad news is the Paludarium needs some work. So there was an issue with one of the outlets when I was out, and my mom, who was being an angel watching all of the dogs, let's just say there was a little mishap, and hypothetically, some plants might have gotten into the tank. And it also is just going through kind of like the newer phase of having fish in there where all the algae kind of blooms. There's just a lot. We have some work to do.
All right, off the bat, a couple of things that I'm noticing is that we're going to have to clean the glass. I have something that can do that, but there are a lot of things like in the way. The filter itself is pretty slow. So I'm probably actually going to want to take that out, fully clean it, because I want to make sure that we have good circulation. Otherwise, a lot of the brownish water and stuff, it's not going to really get better. Actually, when I got back, I noticed it was pretty bad. So for about 2 days, I've already been doing some water changes, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second. But to try to have a starting point and break this into something that I can actually like work with, I'm actually going to start by probably taking some of the plants and the foliage out so that I actually have a little bit more space to move around the little like magnetic cleaner that we're going to have. The rest they want to stay put. So I'm going to see how much more I can do without taking out the silver dust philodendron and the other mini monstera that's in there. So for the glass itself, we're going to try this Magna Float. The inside magnet has like a really rough texture to it. It's going to try to scrub the algae off, and then this other side of the magnet is going to be for the outside of the glass, and it's just kind of just try to give it like a nice shiny little wipe down. That's all. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to do another small water change. Because I don't want to drain it and then switch up the water because that would kind of shock the fish. But I want to see if I can at least get a little more clarity, and then we're going to actually try to like clean up some of the bottom of the tank just to kind of clean out some of the material that I think has fallen in and is decaying and breaking apart and kind of contributing to some of this cloudiness. So we're going to give that a shot. Alright, still not perfect, but that's not really the goal. So, right now, I'm pretty happy with what I've shoveled out so far. Still got quite a bit in the back, however. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take this little like substrate shovel. Can you believe they make these? Anyways, I'm going to fix the little crater in the sand by kind of raking it. And then I'm going to also see if I can get around the tree in the middle and whatnot and bring a lot of that debris to the front so I can use the same method. This way I stay away from the fish. I think they're going to be safer that way, and I'm able to still get a lot of the stuff out that I need to. And so far, so good. As good as it can be, really. Okay, we're getting closer, but I do want to take out the filter and take it apart, clean it. Same with the heater. Again, just trying to get the flow up and going, and then also hopefully that will help with some of the smaller particles that are getting missed by the net. So let's try that. Oh yeah, we're cooking now. All right, filters going. Big stuff has been scooped out, and so hopefully we're going to see more clarity in the water. I did see one of the noodles swimming around, one of those little loaches. Thank goodness. I think they are all actually up in a giant crevice that's in this wood. I was a little nervous when I didn't see any when I took out the rock, but I'm optimistic because I saw at least one. Okay, then I'm just going to reset the plants, and then we just have to kind of wait it out. And we will check in tomorrow and see how it's doing.
For a closer look, now that the plants are in, we have the Marble Queen Pothos coming and sitting on this foot. We have the Monstera Celtibacana coming up the back. Hopefully it goes over the top and then vines back down. I just think that'd be fun. We have some of the velvet mycans that are now kind of crawling through a little peekaboo I found in the wood. And then we have the silver dust philodendron coming up. It's been doing really well, so I actually took out this little like frag rack so that hopefully it has some more room to grow. I also think it'll be a little bit better to not have as many plants, so some more light gets to the bottom, mostly so that I can keep a better eye on these guys as they settle overnight.